Oh, well. If I could laugh as loud as I could if it wasn't super late at night, I would laugh super loud. But I'm not going to do that. But literally, what the hell is going on in Chicago? What is going on in Hallis Hall? And what in the hell is going on with my football team that is the Chicago Bears? Holy hell, man. You know, you know, and if you're just a regular NFL fan watching from an objective point of view of what does this Bears fan has to say about everything that came out, well, obviously yesterday, because I couldn't really do a video on this at the moment because shit, I was working when this entire damn blow up happened with the Chicago Bears. But obviously, for me as a Bears fan going into the season, I was very excited to see where the team was going. Listen, some background information. I'm an Angels fan, and if you know what the hell is going on with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, we're probably gonna more than likely lose Shohei Ohtani, one of the, if not the best player on the planet. We potentially could also lose Mike Trout too, if he probably demands a trade, which honestly I've been calling for him to freaking do for once. And the vibes at with the Angels is absolutely terrible. You have a terrible ran or organization. You have a terrible owner. Everything's bad. And I stopped paying attention by the time I knew the Angels were far, far away from making the damn playoffs. And my focus turned on to the Chicago Bears. And I was just like, hey, even though the Angels are absolutely a cesspool, a dumpster fire, at least I got my Chicago Bears, who look promising with a young, promising quarterback in Justin Fields. We made some solid moves in the offseason, and I can't wait to see how this offense goes and everything. And I'm just excited to see where the team's going to go. We may not make the playoffs, but if we are competitive, we maybe might have a chance of making the playoffs and take a pretty, I wouldn't say big jump, but a pretty nice jump from last season to this season. Justin Fields, I know is going to be the guy. He's got the help he wants. And I'm going to be snoozing. Even though there's going to be times in games I'm going to be super pissed, there's going to be times in games where I'm going to be super happy. And I'm going to be enjoying the content I'm getting. Enjoyed the very first preseason game and was hyped to see where that's going to go. I'm like, oh, welcome to Chicago, DJ Moore. Can't wait to see it. And then I get to the third preseason game and I see how terrible the offense looks like against the Buffalo Bills. And I'm just like, all right, I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm a little bit skeptical. But it's all right. It's just a preseason game. And the more I just buy into everybody saying it's just preseason, it's it. And then obviously we play the Packers. And I was like, all right, we should win this game. They ain't got no more Aaron Rodgers. Their team ain't as good. They got a lot of guys out of that game on the offense side of the ball due to injuries. We should win that game. And then we don't. Matter of fact, our offense doesn't look too good in that game. Matter of fact, our defense doesn't look too good in that game. And we pretty much, by the time the third quarter start, by the time it's middle to third quarter, the game's basically a blowout. And I'm over here sitting on my couch like, we're going to lose to these MF or cheeseheads again. We lose that game. And I'm like, wonderful. The season's already, I'm like, I'm seeing the same issues that I saw from last year. And the season probably is over within 1 week. And after that, not only was my expectations tempered down and I was highly disappointed, a lot of Bear fans' expectations and, you know, moods were toned down too. And they were just like, F the Bears. Screw it. If we can't be the Packers, well then shit. Then we ain't doing anything right and we're gonna suck again. But week 2 comes along, and you know how the Bears sucker us in? First offensive series, they go right down the field and score. you know, and I'm just like, all right. We might actually get things under control. We might be getting things fixed. And then we don't do anything for a good portion of the game. Justin Fields is playing terrible again, taking bad sacks, not getting the ball out fast. The offense doesn't look fluid for some reason. The defense can't seem to stop Baker Mayfield or sack him. You may even know it, you're still in the game for somewhat because the Buccaneers, they're a mid football team and they keep the Bears in the game. And after Justin Fields throws a touchdown pass to Chase Claypool, you're thinking, okay, we have a chance. Defense gets the stop. Good. Then we run freaking some screen passes. We get a false start, or not a false start. We get an offsides by the defense to start the final drive. So we move up to 1st and 5. We run a screenplay. Freaking Chase Claypool, for some odd reason, apparently from what his comment, sounded like as if he didn't know it was a freaking screenplay. So he ends up blocking, which means, guess what? We get a penalty, force back. Only to find out Luke Getsy, for some dumbass reason, decides to run another screen pass. That is the same exact screen pass he ran a play ago. Levante David basically said, well, we knew what formation they were in, and basically it gets picked off as a pick six right there on the goal line, basically, and the Buccaneers win a game. Bad pass by Justin Fields, bad freaking play call by Luke Getsy, and that's when I'm just like, oh. We're 0-2. We've lost 12 straight games in a row, and we haven't won one game since the damn New England Monday Night Football game against the Patriots a year ago, last season. We've lost 12 straight, and now we're 0-2, going to 0-3 because we're playing the Chiefs this weekend. And it's going to be another nationally televised game, America's Game of the Week on Fox, because, the NFL thought the Bears would be actually pretty damn good. So, hey, let's put that game in a marquee matchup. A freaking proven quarterback in Patrick Mahomes against an up-and-coming future superstar in Justin Fields, who doesn't look like a superstar right now. And, yeah, and then now you look at it now and you're like, oh, that does not look like a fun matchup to watch. So, here's the thing. Here's what I ask. I'm already saying after week 2, this situation might be freaking worse than the freaking Matt Nagy situation. Well, lo and behold, I only said it might actually be. No, right now, after today's news, it is the worst situation the Bears probably have ever been in the entire 2010 up to 2020 decade of football of incompetence that is the Chicago Bears. I was wondering, like, oh, geez Louise, it can't get no worse than what it got, it can't get no worse than what it has already been. And lo and behold, it does. Somehow, some way, the Bears find a way to get even worse and make the situation look even worse than what it already is. And just alone, I'm looking at this from the outside perspective as a fan saying, how are people not losing their goddamn jobs after this freaking monsoon that is going on this season? You already have players already calling out the coaches 2 weeks into the thing. You got freaking players like Jalen Johnson going on freaking 670 to score. Or no, you got DJ Moore and freaking Jaquan Brisker going on freaking 670 to score. Freaking talking crap about the fans, saying, I don't like the fans booing us and everything. Well, get jolly we get whatever. I don't care. Jolly me, jolly we, whatever. Who cares? You see why the fans are booing now because you're putting on a damn garbage product on the field. Then you also have Jalen Johnson on the freaking 670 to score talking to Parkins and Spiegel, talking about Justin Fields after week 2 and everything and saying, like, he's just got to do him. I don't know if it's mentally right then and there. Kind of giving a slight hint that, it's potentially the coaches that are effing Justin Fields up. And that's when I'm like, I raise my eyebrow, like on the freaking, like on not Stone Cold, like on The Rock, who appeared on Friday Night SmackDown just last week. And I'm just like, huh? What the hell's going on? And then good old Wednesday morning comes as I'm driving to work. You know, obviously on Wednesdays, you have a press conference between Matt Eberflus and Justin Fields, are two the predominant people. Justin Fields goes up first, actually, shockingly, not Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus actually went up second. Justin Fields went up first. And basically, Justin Fields in this whole press conference basically called out the damn coaching, preferably the OC, of the fact that he felt like he was too robotic in the last game, and the fact that he just didn't feel like him. And he pretty much made a declaration that he's going to start playing like, well, him, I guess, from what he said. And basically, a reporter asked a good follow-up question saying is there any reason as to why you felt robotic? And basically Justin Fields said, well, coaching maybe. And when I listened to that press conference as I was driving on the way to work, I paused from that moment and I was just like, holy shit. The starting quarterback actually freaking called out the coaching. He actually called out the OC. Now, if you watched my game recap and even my freaking I've yet to post that video yet. I gotta post my Chicago Bears fallout from week 2. I'll get that up on the channel at some point. This is obviously the video is gonna go right up after. So if you haven't seen that video, whatever. So my Chicago Bears fallout video, where me and my uncle Daryl go a little bit in depth, talking about the situation that's going on with the Chicago Bears, right? I said in that, and even in the freaking post game after the game on Sunday against the Buccaneers ended, some of the sacks I did not like. And I think Justin Fields got to get the ball out of his damn hands. But there were several of those sacks where it's like, I could see a freaking time for him to just take off and run. But to me, from the eye test alone on my TV, it looked like he was hesitating as if he knew he wanted to run, but it's like as if Luke Getzey is in the back of his freaking head or right near his ear, or he's like the little tiny devil you see on the freaking cartoons, whether it's Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry, where you just have the little devil Luke Getzey saying, Justin, you'll go to hell if you freaking run. You got to stay in the pocket, my guy. So, when I see him and it looks like he's hesitating and everything, like he wants to take off, and I'm just like, he's taking bad sacks when he could just get out of there and run. He has more than enough time. Even if he doesn't trust or he doesn't see what he sees down the field, just take off and run. Get some positive yardage. I don't care if it's 2 yards. Just take off and run. But for some reason, it's like he was coached to stay glued into the pocket, which more importantly, later in the freaking press conference, he said about the coaches freaking basically coaching him up throughout the offseason, basically saying you need to work on the freaking pocket passing situation and you need to learn to stay in the pocket, and throw the football. And I'm just like, oh, so my predictions or my, dare I say, freaking hypothesis or hypotheses going on with this situation with Justin Fields was correct. The coaching staff basically saw what happened from last week and basically took from what people were saying in the media, saying like, oh, he needs to throw the ball down the field and everything. He isn't doing much from that. He only did check down passes. And then going into week 2, they basically prepped him saying, you're staying your ass in the pocket. You're not taking off and you're not taking your ass off and running for freaking yards. You're going to stay in the damn pocket. You're going to find the open receiver and you're going to throw the goddamn football down the field. And I feel like that's what they made Justin do all game, not playing to his strengths. And that single-handedly hint to the fact that Justin Fields said the damn coaching potentially is the reason why he's overthinking things and why he's having a potential problem with being robotic and not being himself like he claimed to be. I'm just like, holy hell. The starting quarterback is basically calling out the OC, basically saying, my OC is freaking leaving me out to die. He's doing me dirty. He's not calling calls to make me feel strong and everything. And I'm just like, holy hell. I'm like, it was already bad enough when I heard a few players actually call it the coaching. But now the starting quarterback is calling the coaching in a year where he has to prove himself to be that dude. And holy hell, man. Some massive, that alone was absolutely massive. That alone was absolutely massive. I'll get to his other press conference he held later today. So I'm just utter stunned, and I'm just like, holy hell. I'm like, if this means that guess he's going to start play calling to his strengths now, well, then I don't know what that means. But he basically put the coaching staff on blame, and he put the coaching staff in a lose-lose situation because guess what? In the city of Chicago, and from the outside media perspective, people are going to look at the Bears and they'll be like, it ain't Justin Fields' fault. He got the talent. That organization who fails to develop quarterbacks time and time again, it's their fault. So basically, you think, okay, this is kind of like a cry for help, a wolf crying basically for help, saying, hey, I just do what they tell me to do, even though it's against my own will, which is obviously bad coaching. You need, as a coach, you need to adjust to your player's strengths and freaking do what's in the best interest of your player, not in the best interest of what you want to do. We just had a coach in the last regime that inflicted his scheme or his freaking whatever his offense on the other players. And because of it, even though I didn't like Mitch Trubisky, he scapegoated Mitch Trubisky. And then when other quarterbacks came into the system of Matt Nagy, they didn't look good, Justin Fields included. So Matt Eberflus comes up to the podium and everything. First thing he announces is that Braxton Jones is going on the IR for a freaking neck injury. That the hell did that happen? So now you're down two offensive linemen who are on your starter, Tevin Jenkins and Braxton Jones. And apparently, there's rumors going on that apparently this neck injury potentially could be season-ending freaking neck surgery or something like that, or not neck surgery, a neck injury, season-ending neck injury. And I'm just like, the hell is going on? What the hell did he have freaking, when did he get a neck injury? I would like to know that. And my thing is also, too, if he had a neck injury, why did not Eberflus not just speak about the neck injury in the freaking press conference he had on Monday instead of doubling down on your OC running back-to-back screens? But let's not talk about our left tackle, potentially the future, having a neck injury that potentially could be a season-ending neck injury, and that freaking just throws a whole wrench in your damn offensive line plan. So basically, their whole thing of trying to protect the players from themselves, not playing the preseason, failed because you got your players still getting hurt. So wonderful, 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 wonderful news, right? Oh boy, man. And the next thing you know, a reporter asked him a question about freaking Alan Williams, and he has no comment at this further time. And I'm just like, dude, all you probably have to say is Alan Williams is in a good place. You know, he's fine. I talked to him like on Tuesday or on Monday. He's all right. He's fine at this point in time. You know, we'll give him his time to freaking go take care of what he needs to go take care of, and then we'll be back. And then whenever he's back, we'll welcome him up with open arms, and he'll be freaking able to resume coaching with the team, right? You know, I was thinking that was the whole situation until this whole blow up ends up happening. Now, apparently, again, these are just accusations. Like freaking what's his face on AEW. So he was like, accusations. Those are accusations. That gets me all the time. But apparently, and let me pull up the tweet. Let me pull up the damn tweet, which all I'm going to say is if these accusations are true, then it's absolute damning news. Absolute damning news, mind you. Now, apparently, due to John Zagul of Sports Talk Chicago, who has a YouTube channel on here, apparently he said, and this blew up after he apparently announced this. He said apparently this in a tweet. Breaking news, according to sources familiar with the situation, both Halas Hall and Alan Williams' homes have been raided in connection with an undisclosed incident. Alan Williams' home was raided Sunday night after the team's Week 1 loss. Apparently, Halas Hall was raided this morning. And I'm just looking at this news and I'm like, I'm like, the hell is going on here? Halas Hall is getting robbed now? Oh, I'm like, and then I'm just looking at it from Alan Williams and I'm like, okay, from that perspective, that makes a hell of a lot more sense why he must be out because of personal reasons. Because the man probably is traumatized that somebody broke into his house. You know, was maybe one of his family members ended up getting hurt or like very like honestly affected by this. Maybe got hurt to the point like they might be in a hospital and it's bad. And again, you know, Chicago, hey, listen, it's a pretty crime infested city, you know, and everything. You know, you don't want to be in the dark alleys out there. Now, again, I don't live in Chicago or anything, but whatever. And I'm just like, okay, the Alan Williams situation, maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe there's actually some belief, okay, this guy must have got, you know, jacked, and I could probably understand. You know, maybe it was a stupid Bears fan that found his location, doxed his information, and just freaking found where he's at and maybe tried to do something to the poor guy because, oh, we lost to the Packers. Again, but then when Mr. Zagul added the whole Halas Hall was rated this morning, I'm like, how was Halas Hall rated in the morning? You got crooks in there or something? You got people stealing stuff in there? I'm like, what? Did somebody take the 1985 Super Bowl trophy and run off with it or something like that? Like, what are we? I'm like, I don't know if that's as true, but I'm like, aren't there players and coaches and freaking staff members there? I'm like, what the hell is going on there? I'm like, hell, the radio show, Waddle and Sylvie held a freaking radio show from Halas Hall this afternoon. And I'm just like, if somebody raided that facility, don't you think that would be under lock and key and they would like absolutely let nobody in there? There'd probably be even no practice today if somebody raided Halas Hall and stole some stuff. There'd be investigations going on. Continuing on. Apparently, you know, an hour later, he ends up saying more Bears news. Apparently, Chicago Bears legend Charles Tillman, who was like an FBI agent at this point in time, he apparently broke the news about Alan Williams to Matt Eberflus, Ryan Poles, and Kevin Warren per sources. Apparently, Eberflus cried and could not believe what had happened. Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren do not blame Eberflus for having Williams on his staff. And apparently, like, even if, you know, an hour after that, you know, he said, like, I stand by my source and my reporting regarding the Alan Williams situation and the Bears matter. I care about the truth of the situation. I'm not in it for click shares or likes. I never have been and I never will be. Now, the reason why he said that is because only a few minutes later, after these accusations, or like a good hour after these accusations were out and people were bringing this whole situation up, and I'm over here like, the frick is going on with the Bears? You got freaking crooks, and then you know, and the next thing you know, and then obviously Eberflus's press conference was turning down the fact that we have no comment about Alan Williams at this time, and I'm just like, no comment. I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, something serious might be going on because remember, a lot of people were freaking holding Nate Davis's feet to the fire and saying he might not be all in, but then it comes out literally that he had a death in the family, right? So people pretty much retracted their statements of anything bad they said about Nate Davis, right? You know, and just me as an objective person looking at the situation, I'm like, okay, maybe again, the reason why Eberflus maybe might not be bringing anything to the center, and again, he should handle this differently. Just say, hey, listen, he's going through something. You know, all I know is last time I talked to him, he said he's doing fine. It's just a little bit of troubling information for him. It's just a little bit troubling on his end, you know, but, you know, he's going to get, I know he can get through it and we'll open him the doors up, you know, when he's ready. But he said no comment like multiple times when reporters brought it up. And I was just thinking, like, okay, either something's like very, very, very serious, or my next best guess is, and you know, as much as people are probably speculating, my next best guess is his ass ended up getting fired, you know, because of his poor job against the Packers, and maybe the McCaskies were like, fire the DC if Eberflus isn't calling plays, because if he's going to let the Packers run all wild over us with no Aaron Rodgers, well, then what the hell is he doing in this building, right? Next thing you know, a few minutes, ago, it was reported by Ian Rappaport first. And when I saw this, I was like, huh? Chicago Bears defensive coordinator Alan Williams ends up resigning, and apparently he resigned this morning. The reason for this resignation, nobody knows. Nobody knows. And what I mean is the true reason. Now, apparently, a statement came out from Alan Williams, and basically the statement reads from Alan Williams: "It is with great regret that I tender my resignation as the defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears football club, effective immediately. I'm taking a step back to take care of my health and my family. I appreciate the opportunity to work with the Chicago Bears, a storied NFL franchise with a rich history. The McCaskey family is a first class and second to none. I would also like to thank Coach Matt Eberflus and General Manager Ryan Poles for giving me the opportunity to come to Chicago. I would also like to thank President Kevin Warren, the coaches and players, of which I value the relationships and camaraderie. I value the NFL Shield and all that it stands for, and after taking some time to address my health, I plan to come back and coach again. Sincerely, Coach Alan Williams." Now, I saw this, I'm like, oh, he just resigned. Now, again, there's many times where the Bears have had people resign, but AKA it also means they got their asses fired. But that was an interesting point about that whole situation. Now, apparently, his lawyer ended up coming out, apparently. Yes, Alan Williams' lawyer ended up coming out and pretty much saying, like, no, there's no legal issue, there's no nothing. And Ian Rappaport, because Mr. John Zagul's report about everything that happened, about Halas Hall being raided and everything, it's the thing. Now, Ian Rappaport basically says, clarity: the FBI did not raid Halas Hall today. The league is apparently not involved in this situation, and Peanut Tillman is also not involved in this matter whatsoever. Now, I don't know what's really going on. I like to also watch the Tape Never Lies network, which I think they do a good job over there. I like those guys. I like watching those guys, other objective Bears fans. And apparently, I guess the main guy on there said, I guess he got some news that it's pretty bad. And, if it gets out, well, then it's some pretty damning news. Now, again, if that information, ever come now, right now, the information that came out is the fact that apparently Alan Williams resigned due to health reasons. He resigned due to health and family reasons. If that is the case, I hope all is well with his health and his family, and he's hopefully going to get himself in a good space. And if he has any plans of coaching again, hey, best of luck to him. It just didn't work out in Chicago, and I think his tenure here wasn't the best. Like, he didn't really make the defense better. And I understand last season you didn't have the talent there, but even in that first game, it's like, dude, blitz, please. Like, when Eberflus took over the defense in week 2, at least he blitzed more, than what Alan Williams did. But I don't know. Again, apparently Alan Williams' lawyers are also involved in this situation too. So I don't know if this means there's going to be some sort of weird investigation, and it's the Bears' way of saying, oh, there's more issues going on. We're just going to use the term resign. So this information probably might be investigated under our watch. We won't bring the league into this and see what's really going on. Again, we don't know if this situation is, right or wrong. We don't know if there's any truth to the reports that his house got raided or Halas Hall got raided, even though Ian Rappaport said apparently that's nothing to do with it. I don't know. Whatever is going on, it's just absolutely crazy. That's the thing that shocked me the most, because it's like, what defensive coordinator resigns after 2 weeks into the season? I haven't seen anything like this before. And I'm just like, okay, maybe like unless the family or health reason is very serious, and I'm not denying that it could be that reason. It really could be that reason. But if it's worse than just a family and health issue, and it's got like things where it might be like legal stuff, and it might actually involve like activity that is not like something that should not be permitted in a professional sports organization, well then that's absolutely insane. And if this information, this truth gets out about what really happened, what is the real reason why Alan Williams just abruptly just resigns out of nowhere, and it just gets out there into the public, and it's a lot worse than how it sounded like in that statement I just read, well then the Bears got a massive problem. And at that point, I understand the McCaskies don't fire coaches in season, especially the head coach in season, but shit, you might as well have to fire the coach and Matt Eberflus in season, because then why the hell are you having people, why is this being allowed? You know, and then you really have to go, you know, I don't know. Maybe Ryan Poles or preferably the McCaskies or Kevin Warren come out, maybe probably I need to have like a freaking just out of the blue press conference say, listen, anything that was heard due to the reports, it's false. There's nothing in terms of the report that is true about any of this. You know, Mr. Allen's resigned because of a personal family issue, and that's where we're going to leave it. Other than that, I will open up to questions, but there is like absolutely no truth to these rumors, you know, that is out there on social media. You know, and I think, you know, maybe it's in the best interest that Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles have this just out of the blue press conference to shut these rumors down, because there's going to be people, regardless of what came out, speculate and say, oh, maybe it's that, but who knows? It could be something even worse than that. And you already have people bringing up the fact that, okay, there was a lawyer involved in this situation, and they're like, okay, and this must mean something else is going on, you know, if there's a lawyer. So I feel like Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles might need to come out and shut any rumors down. And even if there is something going on behind the scenes, hey, you got to play PR and you got to say, listen, he resigned because of a family/medical issue going on, and that's all we can tell you at this time. Out of respect to him and his privacy, we will not be talking or commenting on the matter further. We're just letting everybody know he is no further. He's not a further. He's no longer a part of the organization as of this point in time. And that's where we're leaving it at that. You know. So yeah, and who knows? Maybe you have to have it to where Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles, and Matt Eberflus are all at the podium together to hash out this whole thing, so then the Bears can get back on track and literally say, listen, we need to focus. We have a team right there that is on a losing streak that we need to focus and get there. So that's bad enough within itself. And I just gave you my take on the Alan Williams. I wish my Uncle Daryl was here to give his side of the things. The next thing you know, after everything that has freaking happened, after everything that just blows up, Justin Fields comes out, has just out of the blue press conference in the locker room, basically calling out the media for twisting his words and saying like, oh, I'm calling out the coaches. So clearly the guy got on social media, took a peek at Twitter, or maybe one of his boys or one of his family members texted him, and said like, dude, what you said in the press conference absolutely blew up. Like, you got fans freaking saying, you called out Luke Getsy, the coach, and everything, and saying like, oh, you did them dirty and everything. And apparently, I guess from what, Albert Breer said, he went to Luke Getsy after seeing this blow up, literally, I guess, apologized to Luke Getsy and said, hey, I said some things in the press conference that I guess got misconstrued and people think I'm talking bad about you. And he has a special press conference basically calling out the media saying, don't misinterpret my words, don't twist my words, don't cut up bits of what I said and try to turn it as if I'm saying something. I don't mean to I don't throw my teammates or my coaches under the bus, which makes absolutely no sense because you literally said the reason why you overthink yourself too much and the reason why you feel like you're not comfortable or you come off robotic in the offense is because of the coaching. You literally said that. So basically Justin Fields backtracked on his comments. So yes, now this also leads me to the fact that the last news of the day was Nathan Peterman, and like for me, like the late afternoon gets released from the Chicago Bears. Don't know if he'll be back on the practice squad, which only means that if you didn't know or if you didn't hear about it, I had like a legitimate like argument with Brad Biggs, literally, where he like replies to my quote tweet on one of his tweets where I said literally when it was like announced that Nathan Peterman is the backup quarterback of the Bears. And I was just like, why is Nathan Peterman the effing backup? This is politics, the Chicago Bears politics at its finest. Instead of having Tyson Bagent be the backup guy because he clearly won the backup guy because of his good performance in the preseason. It basically got freaking it got PJ Walker out of a job because of it. Or basically got him cut from the Bears because Tyson Bagent stepped up when he had the opportunity in the preseason, played really well. And you had people actually say, man, put Tyson Bagent in and see how it freaking operates. Especially the fact that you got a lot of people from the Buccaneers game saying Justin Fields is a bust. He ain't the guy. Put Tyson Bagent and see what he gives us. you know? So, I got into a whole spat fest with Brad Biggs, the reporter for the Bears, and he basically said, politics are blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, please. I know politics when I see politics. The Bears played politics with Tyson Bagent. He was a clear-cut number 2 backup to Justin Fields. And for whatever reason, the Bears played politics. They put him as the good third-string quarterback, and they freaking put Nathan Peterman as the backup. And I'm like, if Justin Fields gets hurt, by no means do you think Nathan Peterman is going to give you the best chance to win. Everybody knows Nathan Peterman is a scrub quarterback. He's a below average quarterback. He ain't going to win your damn games. It don't matter. He ain't going to do enough to freaking make a defense feel threatened as a backup. You put Tyson Bagent in there, even though he's a rookie, you never know what you could get out of him because nobody has outside the preseason have any film on him. And he actually looked pretty damn solid, even more solid than Nathan Peterman did in the preseason. So why is freaking Bagent the third string quarterback and not Nathan Peterman? And it's like, and it's funny because I got into a whole spat fest with other Bears fans saying like, well, Bagent can learn and understand the playbook and everything. And, Nathan Peterman can be an assistant to Justin Fields. And I'm just like, well, if Nathan Peterman is going to be such of a sideline influence for Justin, he can be the third string quarterback and still be doing that too. You got this freaking third string quarterback rule now enacted where you don't have to make the third string quarterback active, basically. He can still suit up and everything, but he's not deemed active, And I was just like, you can have Tyson Bagent be the number 2. What's that tell? Tyson Bagent can also learn as well. So Tyson Bagent, after Peterman gets cut, is now QB2. So what do I impact from all of this? What do I impact all of this from this Justin Fields thing? Now, one, I appreciate the fact that he did call it the coaching because you can clearly tell the coaching is telling him, run our system, otherwise you're left for dead. And we know Justin Fields is in a critical year in his pro career to where, holy hell, he could potentially be out of millions of dollars, miss out on millions of dollars if he doesn't show up. On top of it, potentially having a career in the NFL, maybe another chance of being a starter in the NFL, even if he moves on from the Bears, and he doesn't want to lose that opportunity because his coaches are screwing him over. And even though I said it in the last 2 weeks, especially this Tampa Bay game, I said Justin Fields has to play better. If there's guys wide open, he has to throw that ball and hit those guys. But also, too, the coaching plays a role. If you as the coach is saying, I need you to run my offense, you need to stay your ass in the pocket, and you don't need to take off and run. Because that's the problem with this coaching staff. They do things out of the order. They don't coach to Justin's play style. They coach to their play style because guess what? Luke Getsy's play style is the Green Bay offense, aka Aaron Rodgers, because that's all he knows and all he saw in Green Bay was Aaron bleeping Rodgers. So of course, Luke Getsy, like Nathaniel Hackett, when he was the head coach in Denver, was trying to freaking coach their quarterbacks up as if they had Aaron Rodgers right then and there, and it's making them It made Russell Wilson's life hard, and it's making Justin Fields' life hard and everything because he's taking too much information because he doesn't know how to process it correctly, and he's trying to be a perfectionist, and he's got the weight of the city of Chicago on his shoulders. And for a young person that is no older than I am, God, I don't want to be in that position he's be put in. And clearly, you could tell by the press conference he was very, very, very frustrated with not only this losing streak that the Bears are going on, but the way he probably is being coached. And the fact that the coaches are leaving me out to dry. I feel like they're going to screw me over. And, next thing you know, I'm going to be freaking bleeped over. So, F it. I'm just going to go out there. I'm going to be me. Now, by saying that, Justin Fields put himself with a target. That means he needs to go out there and he needs to go be himself, like you said. That means you better go ball your ass out. Because if I see you time and time again do this crap I've been seeing the last 2 weeks, where you're being very inconsistent in the passing game and you can barely get over 200 yards passing in one game, then what the hell are we doing here? Which leads me, and then second, why is he backtracking on his statement? He said in the press conference, literally the first one he said this morning, he said, we're all grown men in there. We're not going to get upset by whatever we say or anything. If we have an issue, well, we're going to talk it out. We're going to hash it out. We're going to be grown men about it. And we're going to freaking say what if we have an issue with something, as from a player standpoint, if we have an issue with with something the coach calls, well, then we'll hash that out with the coach. So my thing is why backtrack on what you said? Justin, stand on what you said. And you literally said in your press conference, earlier in your press conference that, hey, we're grown men in this building. We're not going to catch any feelings or get butthurt about comments made, right? Well, what? Did he backtrack because he was afraid that Luke Getsy was going to get upset about this? And he's going to be like, the hell? What? Is Luke Getsy going to go into his press conference tomorrow, and say, and what the reporter asked him, so, Justin said he felt robotic, and he said part of it had to do with coaching. And what? Did you think that freaking, is Getsy going to get upset by it? Again, it's like I said with freaking Matt Eberflus when it comes to doubling down on the damn freaking screen pass. What? Is Luke Getsy really going to get butthurt if the head coach calls out him and his poor play calling? If Luke Getsy is really going to get butthurt by a coach saying, listen, I need to have to talk on the side with my OC. The play calling isn't what it should be. Well, if Luke Getsy has a problem with it, then that means he can't handle it and he's got thin freaking skin. What are we doing here? Right? So that makes no sense. And it's like, well, then dang. If he can't take the fact that his starting quarterback is literally telling him to his face, coach, this ain't me. Please coach me to my strengths. Don't coach me the way you want me to coach. Again, I've been saying Luke Getsy has been coaching like Matt Nagy. Again, trying to make him turn into Aaron Rodgers when he's not Aaron Rodgers. He's Justin Fields. He's got the talent out of the ass. Maybe not as talented as Aaron Rodgers is, but he has a special ability that he could be something special in this league. And Luke Getsy is like, F that. You got to play like Aaron Rodgers from the pocket. And I understand. Justin Fields does have to improve and get better as a passer from the pocket. But at least make things easier for him. Get him on the move. You don't have to run him 20 times in a game on a QB draw or a QB power or a design QB run. I'm just saying, let him use his strengths, and maybe it might actually make him see the field better and actually might help him better. Right? So that whole situation is there, and he backtracks, and it's like he calls up the media, and it's like, dude, that you said what you said. Just stand on your words. I can understand going to Luke Getsy and saying, Coach, listen, if they ask you a question by this, I didn't mean anything by this. I'm just really frustrated right now, and I just feel like we could do better as an offense, and I feel like maybe we could, coach to my strengths. Literally, just tell your coach that. I understand Justin's young and he probably doesn't want to talk back to his coach and everything, and he listens to what the coach says. But Jesus, as a player, stand up for yourself. Just say, coach, I don't think you're coaching to my strengths. I feel like we could be doing this. And the you know, and guess what? If you're playing, if the coach is like, I understand that, but we got to run what we got to run here. That's when you go take it with Eberflus and you go take it up with Eberflus, the head coach, and say, hey, coach, listen, Luke Getsy, he's telling me I need to run this system. I can understand this and I will do it to the best of my ability. But I feel like he's not coaching me up to what fits me and makes me feel good. And then as a good head coach, responsible head coach too, that's when you bring Luke Getsy. That's when Eberflus should bring Getsy in his office and say, listen, kid, listen, dude, I'll put you out of a job if you're not going to adjust to my quarterback strengths. We're trying to win games here because I'm not going to let your poor coaching, hold my coaching responsible for that because it's a reflection of me. Again, like I said, if Getsy's going to take shit personally, then maybe he never deserved to be at OC. Plain and simple. Again, Getsy gives up that smart ass vibe. Like last week, he said, yeah, I know this city and the hunger for having a good offense and everything. He sounded snarky. He gave like snarky, like Matt Nagy response when he was the head coach here. But anyways, like I said, the reason why I said Justin Fields has to back up his play with the words he said in that first press conference is because Tyson Bagent is right there. Them doing that move, cutting Peterman to make Bagent the number 2 freaking quarterback. That only tells me one thing. Clearly, the Bears did not appreciate what Justin Fields said in that press conference this morning. And they were like, okay. You think it's the coaching that's making you be like this. All right. We're just going to totally ignore that we're just going to totally ignore that, you're missing wide open receivers down the field and you're not throwing the ball. Now, even though Justin Fields in the second press conference says he understands he has to play better, it's good acknowledgement. Why backtrack? He could have said that in the first press conference where he's like, listen, I got to play better at the end of the day. But hey, piece of the reason why I overthink it maybe has something to do with coaching, right? But like I said, they're going to look at that and be like, all right, we'll go your way. And if you fail to do your way and you fail to look good doing it your way, well, then guess what? I'll go back to my system, but this time your ass is going to be on the bench, and we'll put in the rookie, Bright. And we're going to see how he does with the number 1 weapons. Because remember, guys, a lot of Bear fans were intrigued to see, okay, Tyson Bagent looks good with the 2s and 3s. What could he look like if he's got the number 1s? Does he look more efficient? Is he getting the ball out on time? Is he doing things that maybe Justin Fields failed to do in the passing game so far up to this point? And I am interested to see this because it's like, well, if Fields continues to play bad, you got to go with something else. You got to get something that's going to spark your offense and make it work. And if Bagent is the guy to come in and he makes the offense click and the offense is clicking on all cylinders going forward, if you go that direction, well, then now okay, Fields was never the guy. Bagent potentially could be the guy. Obviously you have to see consistent weeks, but, and I would still, even in this upcoming draft, if you have a high draft pick, I still would take one of these highly talented quarterbacks as a backup plan, just in case Bagent doesn't work out and ends up not being that guy. I understand, well, but carrying for 15, you're wasting a draft pick on it. What if you get, yeah, I understand that, but you got to know, is Bagent good enough, So that's the thing right then and there. And that's what shows me that, okay, all right, Justin, you want to play like that? We'll take the gloves off. Seeing what happens if you keep screwing up. We'll put in Bagent. And, like I said, I'm excited to see where this potentially could go, especially if Bagent does get in, but I'm also afraid for Justin Fields because this really does feel like a reminder of the 2020 season. And before I get out of here, if you Bear fans remember, back in the 2020 season, week 3 against the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta, the Bears weren't playing really good on offense. And for abruptly, Mitch gets pulled for Nick Foles, and Nick Foles leads us to win that game. And ever since then, Nick Foles was the starter going forward, as Matt Nagy announced him. And pretty much that was the breaking point with Nagy and Mitch. Now we know, obviously, Mitch ended up being the starter later on, but I just feel like we're potentially headed in that direction if Justin Fields doesn't pick up his play. And I feel knowing this coaching staff, they're taking shit. You make it think as if they don't take it personally. They probably did take those comments personally, and they're like, "All right, fine. You want to be like that? Okay, cool. We'll just have Bajan be the backup, and the moment you stink up the joint, we'll put his ass in the game. And if he performs better than how you're performing, well, then now we know who the freaking problem is." So I'm afraid, man, because you bench him, you bench Fields, especially early on in the season, you're gonna kill his confidence, and then at that point, the bridge is burned. At that point, you might as well just move on, and you might as well trade him at some point at the near the tail end of the season with a few weeks left to go, because it's like, well, then that means your plan will be to draft a quarterback going into the draft, because you're not going to keep Justin Fields on the team. And you're just going to trade him somewhere. Hopefully he gets another opportunity to start, and you're going to do him basically like how the 49ers did Trey Lance. Just trade him away and be like, all right, whatever. It just didn't work out. You weren't good for us. Hate it. It would suck because that's the most talented quarterback the Bears will have had walked into their building. But at the end of the day, as much as I love Fields, if he's not putting up the success on the field, well, you got to see if somebody else can give you success. And if Tyson Bate, in any event, if that happens where Fields gets benched, Bagent comes in, the offense is successful, and Bagent started going forward, and the offense continues to be successful under Bagent, well then, listen, as much as I have my two Justin Fields jerseys in the freaking closet, listen, at the end of the day, I'm a Bears fan at heart. I want to see the success of the Bears be good, and just because I might like a certain player on the team because I felt like he might be the guy, I'm not going to throw a hissy fit and freaking call it the Bears for doing it. Like, I got to look at the play objectively. And if he's not playing good, he's not playing good. So, listen, guys, I know this video is super long and it probably didn't need to have to be, but I just felt like I needed to get everything off my chest about what's going on. But at the end of the day, this goes to show you how poorly run this organization has been for years. All this information getting out, your players calling out your coaches, freaking D coordinators resigning for apparent reasons that might be more serious than health and family reasons. The non-transparency, not everything going on. Your left tackle gets hurt and you don't even tell the fans that on Monday, after the day after the game. Your offensive line left in shambles, still starting guys like Lucas Patrick at the center position, not Cody Whitehair. I only hope they don't move Darnell Wright to left tackle, keeping at right tackle. That's how you mess these. Then that's what I'm afraid of too. You move Darnell Wright over to left tackle because Braxton Jones is out. You're going to stunt Darnell Wright's development, and he might end up not developing the way he probably should because you keep flip flopping him all over the goddamn offensive line. Again, like I said, this really goes to show you how inept the Bears and incompetent the Bears are. And it's absolutely depressing. Absolutely depressing. And the fact that we're getting to the point where, Bajan is now backup and basically Fields, if he has more bad games or shit, if he freaking stinks, who's to say Fields stinks up the joint against Kansas City and the freaking plug is pulled there and the Bears like, fuck this. We already knew we're getting our asses whooped. We're not going to let our quarterback even make it worse. Bajan, get your helmet on. Get your ass in the game. Give us what you can do. Now, again, I don't know what Bajan would do behind this poorest offensive line, but holy hell, if that means he can get the ball out quicker, well, then I'm all for it. If he's able to hit the read, I'm all for it. And even if Luke Getsy, I don't like him as a play caller, if Bajan overcomes the bad play calling, he makes Getsy look like a god, well, then hell. Whatever. Then that means you have some dumbass team thinking Luke Getsy is a great play caller, and boom, next thing you know, he'll be a head coach. And you know where the story will go from there. So that was a lot to unpack. A lot to unpack today. Yeah, I don't know, man. And again, at the end of the day, we're playing the Kansas City Chiefs on fucking Sunday, and I already know we're gonna lose. I'm gonna give my NFL predictions, this weekend about the games, but holy hell, you already freaking know that it's gonna be a freaking cesspool of a game. And I just realized I don't want to work on my Sunday because I want to go watch the NFL football games. Gosh darn it. I'm going to tell if I have to I'll work on Saturday. I'll miss college football, but I'm not missing the goddamn Bears, even though I know what's going to freaking happen is going to happen. And not, look, I'm not looking forward to it, but whatever. The Bears are in freaking shambles. Hallis Hall is literally in hell, burning on fire. And I feel like we're going to need the owners, the team president, the gosh darn GM to come out here, quell the rumors, quell everything, and at least somewhat extinguish this flame that turned into a damn inferno. But that's the life of being a Chicago Bears fan, right? Damning news comes out, and now things have just went from bad to worse to now interesting with this whole Bajan is the number two. But I just feel in my sneaking heart, in one of these weeks, and I believe it's close. I feel like the coaching staff's going to hit their damn breaking point and then be like, your ass called us out embarrassing us in the press conference because you think these people are grown ass men. No, they're petty ass individuals who want to, guess what? They'll bench Fields so they can freaking do what Matt Nagy did back in 2020. That's the reason why he benched Mitch. They wanted to save him, and his coaching staff wanted to save their own asses before anybody. And if it's at the detriment to a young, literally 25, 24-year-old individual, freaking adult, just no older than I am right now, then they'll freaking do it. Because again, it's the freaking business. It's eat or be eaten. And I guarantee you, these coaches, they got a damn ego. And I know their damn ego knows, oh shit, if this gets worse, we are going to be fired. We're going to lose our jobs. And I won't be shocked if Eberflus gets here like, Bajan, get in the game. And they're going to scapegoat Justin Fields about a Chicago like they did with Mitch, even though I didn't like Mitch. But they're going to do the same exact thing again. It's going to give them another year to get their guy that they want. And then if the season still ends up being a terrible season, they're going to get fired. And guess what? We're at this situation again where a new coach is going to come in. Whoever the new quarterback is at that point in time is not their guy, and they're going to mess around with his development. Well, again, like I said, that's the left Chicago Bears fan. I just hope that doesn't happen. I really do hope that doesn't happen. Because I said it in my Fallout video with my Uncle Daryl. If you draft a new quarterback and this draft of Fields doesn't work out, you got to fire the staff because the staff can't stick around. And I have a sneaking suspicion the more this team loses games, the more hiding chances that, Eberflus is going to get fired. And again, if this Ellen Williams thing is more serious than just what is initially thinking it is, which is a family and health reason, and it's a lot more serious, well then shit, a lot of people could lose their jobs. A lot of people could lose their jobs then. But I guess we'll see. If there's any more information that comes out with this Alan Williams news, unless there's nothing that comes up, I'll make a video about this and I will talk about it and I'll give my thoughts. But right now, the Bears, again, like I said, they're in a blazing inferno. And next thing you know, it ain't getting any better because you got to play the damn Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead on this upcoming Sunday. And shit, when we lose by fucking 40 points, well, lo and behold, it's gonna go to inferno, to a goddamn forest fire. But whatever. I don't know what's even worse than an inferno. But I guess we'll find out. Anyways, gonna catch you out of here. Catch you guys in the next video. Until then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.